Everybody, Kodiak here. We're going to discuss a little bit about a couple add-ons that I use that I've had some questions about. I really wasn't using them to their fullest capability, so I got some tips and pointers, and I want to make sure that you guys are informed too. So today what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the add-on here, Pond, and the RaidBots, Top Gear, and Stats Weight. I know a lot of people that run World of Warcraft, they always have a question about what is the best gear, what is the ultimate gear, or what is my best stats that I'm looking for the optimum DPS. Well, these two add-ons in conjunction with each other, will help you with your DPS. And I'll explain how this works. Pawn by itself uses raw scores. Raw scores will tell you, and I've got a piece here that I just picked up, that this is an 18% upgrade. What it doesn't take into consideration is that if you look, I have a piece of gear with the corruption on it. Now, this piece of corruption gear has 15 corruption, and it's actually pretty decent. It's a gain void ritual. It does like an AoE damage. It's kind of cool. Not so good on single targets, but it's going to definitely do some extra damage. But how do you know for sure that this is the best piece of gear in your bag at the time? Well, what you want to do is you want to run a comparison against what you have and what Pawn says and what RaidBot says. Now, I've already done this. The first add-on you're going to need is Pawn. It's going to give you some generic stat weights. Just go ahead and get rid of those because I'm going to show you how to build your own stat weights to optimize your gear based on your needs. So I've already done that. I've already cleared all the standard stats, and I created my own. Now the way we're going to do that is this. First thing we're going to do is run the add-on, get the add-on Simulation Craft right here. Once it's downloaded, let me close out Pawn here. Once it's downloaded, this is what Simulation Craft is looking for your current stats. Now keep that in mind. It's your current stats, it's your current stats weights. So I'm going to minimize WoW here. Already got SimCraft open with RaidBots. And what I want to do is I want to build stat weights. Now, these stat weights are very important because this is going to tell you if this piece of gear is actually what it's considered a base upgrade. Now remember that, base upgrade, because base upgrades are just stat heavy. So we'll go ahead and generate this. Now, while this is queuing, because I'm kind of cheap, I don't purchase a lot of the premium contents because I don't use it a lot. But when I do, I'm still running around, I'm still playing games, and I'm not really doing much of anything else. So I'll go back to WoW here. Excuse me. So what we're looking for here is this right here. As you can tell, I've got plenty of gear in here. Some are 440. Let's go see. This is like 440. This is socketed 440, 420, 445, opposed to a 450. Now there's going to be some gear in here that is item level heavy, like this 440 as opposed to my 430 ring, and my 445 with corruption as opposed to my 450 without corruption. So what I'm wanting to do is I'm wanting to determine what is the best piece of gear for me with my current stats. So that's why we're running the RaidBots stat generator behind this here. Hopefully we should be just about done. So once this is done, what we're going to do is we're going to do the plugin. We're going to plug in all of the stats that RaidBots has generated into Pawn. Now here goes, just prepping our stats. All good things, right? So just wait here, and we're going to do a little box down here, basically says stats, blah, 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 blah. Now, generic, you won't understand what it says unless you're a coder or you know what your stats and what you're looking for. Now, this is my current stat weight, right? Most of my DPS is coming from my weapon. My next is versatility, crit strike, mastery. Now, what this is going to do, and this is the string right here. This is what you want to copy. Copy this. Go back into WoW. Open up Pawn. If I can spell. There we go. So this was I've already got this one created. But if you're new and you've just downloaded Pawn, you're going to go to Scale, and you're going to do a manual scale, and it's going to bring up this page right here that you're already looking at, this whole thing. But it's going to list all of these. So once we're done, I'll kind of talk you through getting rid of it, but I've already done this part of it. So we're going to import this scale right here, Control V, hit OK. This is my current stat weight. Now you can go ahead and close this because it's really not beneficial. Unless this is the first time you're running it, you want to select your toon name, because this is the ones that RaidBots has generated, okay? That's the key, because if you're running Pawn, there's going to be 3 different stat weights for you, and it's going to be based on those classes. I remove all of them so I get a pure stat weight for what I'm looking for. So go ahead and close this. As you can tell, there's nothing else in my bag here that is, let's move this down here. There's nothing else in my bag here that has a little green arrow right there. It says it's an 18% upgrade. Now, what that means, it's a pure stat upgrade. That doesn't mean that it is the best DPS piece for what I'm trying to do. So what we're going to do now is, since we know that this is a pure stat upgrade and it's a wrist piece, what I want to do is I want to run a RaidBot simulator under Top Gear right here. Let me go back here because I need to get my current stat weights again. Oop, that ain't it. Get out of there. Go right here. Copy this one more time. Paste it right in here. Now this is going to import everything that I currently have on. Now we'll discuss max corruption later. If you have too much corruption, this generator is going to fail, because I'm basically telling mine I don't want any more than 59 corruption right now, which I can actually go a little bit higher now because my cloak is a level 9. So what I want to do is I want to compare these 2 pieces, right? Where the wrists, these 2. So make sure that I'm looking at the right piece. This one is called the wrist wraps of the Insatiable Maw. Okay. Need my glasses apparently. Wrist wraps of the Insatiable Maw. So I want to compare these 2. Now, what's already highlighted is what you have on. So if you look, all this by default should be what you're currently running. If it's not, go ahead and select it. I haven't ran into an issue where it is. So now what we're going to do is, we got these 2 selected. I've already selected all of the gems and everything that I'm running. Now you don't have to do this, but it gives you a more accurate output of how well this piece is going to increase your DPS. So obviously see here what my current gem stats are. I have 120 agility. I've got some 50 crit. I've got the versatile navigation, the deadly navigation, critical strike. So by all means, definitely check this out, because it's going to give you a more in-depth or more realistic DPS upgrade. So you got all this stuff, and what you can do is go back later, is you can actually start adjusting these to do a simulation to see how well that this your changes in your traits and talents will affect the DPS. So for now, we'll just go over the general upgrade. So we got everything selected. I don't want to change anything because it's currently what my current build is. Blah, blah, blah. We're going to hit Find Gear. Now this is going to take a little bit of time too. Like I said, this is free. I definitely would recommend, if you're going to be using this a lot, if you raid a lot or you're getting into raiding a lot, by all means, support RaidBots. They do a very, very good job of keeping this site maintained. It's updated all the time. In fact, you can see it was updated with some hot fixes on the 28th. So let's kind of get back into WoW while this is cooking in the background here. Just want to talk to you a little bit about Pawn. Now, Pawn, in and of itself, is a generalized upgrade finder. And what I mean by that, it comes with its own base weights. And you can go out and you can find template weights. I highly recommend creating your own weights, because template weights are good as you're upgrading and leveling. Once you get to rating level, item levels, that's where you're, especially with this new patch with all the corruption gear, that's when you're going to start fine-tuning your character for the DPS. If you're DPS dependent, you're DPS heavy, and you just want to, start swinging the DPS peen, definitely get Pawn, but you're going to need a simulator to compare it to. It's specifically a weight generator, because if you do not change your weights every time that you equip a piece of gear, it's going to generically compare what's in your bag with the current or last weight stats that is on the list. So you're basically telling Pawn, in this list, this is what your current weights are. This is how you should enumerate it. This is how you should calculate the upgrades based on what you currently have. So hopefully I get a good generate here, an output that shows you that I can use this. So then we can go back and generate a new Pawn weight list, and then that will compare it to everything else that's in my bag. So there may be something a little lower in an item level that says, hey, this is going to be better for you too. So let's see, we should be there we go. We're just about done here. This is what I compared. So in the bottom here, it gives you what your top gear is. So if you look, I actually have 2 pieces in my bag, right? Sorry, it calculated with the correct gem. So if I put a 120 gem in there, it should bump my DPS up. Now remember, this is pure DPS with corruption in a perfect world scenario. So I should be pumping out about 40k DPS. If I wanted to go with a crit strike, it'll take me down just about 100 points. You know what? I like to run the DPS meters. I like to be near the top if I can be. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to upgrade this. I'll put the gem in it, and then we will resim our stats because that's the key. So let's go ahead and do that now. Put this puppy on. Doom! Right there. I don't think I have any gems in the guild bank, but let's check. Close out. I need to go and update that too. So what I'm looking for, that ain't it. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Oh, I don't think I have one, do I? So let's go back and check what it's telling us we should need. Leviathan. I don't think we have any of those, but if I don't, that's okay because this will still work for the instruction. Check the guild bank here. Doop, 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 doop. I'm going to be out of luck. Yeah, I'm out of luck. So, but we know that what Simbot or RaidBot is telling us is that is the best piece of gear, including the corruption. It's taking that corruption DPS and the proc of that, basing it against the core of, let me get out of that, I forgot to escape last time, boop, basing it of the core of the last one, right, and saying that yes, with the chance of proccing, with the increased gem, with the increase in corruption, this is the best pure DPS item in your bag. So that's just a quick tutorial of Pawn in conjunction with RaidBots. Guys, this is my very first YouTube video. I hope you liked it. Sorry I sounded a little congested because I am been running this swine vira, pig flu, whatever the thingy is going on. So please forgive me. If you like the video and you want to see some more, and I'm going to go in depth on some Pawn and some more RaidBots and some upcoming videos, but I want to get one out there because this is something that I have been struggling with and had some very good tutelage on it the other day. One of our hunters in our guild, Barlathor, appreciate it, brother, really kind of tuned me into both of these and how they should be working with each other. If you use one, keep in mind it is for basic purposes only. Pawn in and of itself is good until you get to raid level. If you are trying to maximize your DPS, maximize your threat generation, maximize your healing, by all means use Pawn in conjunction with RaidBots, because you are going to do yourself a huge disservice if you don't, because you're going to end up throwing a piece of gear that might be item level lower than what you're currently wearing, but in reality, based on its current weights compared to what you have, it could be a 5 or 10k DPS or heals per second upgrade. So please, by all means, check them out. I'm going to leave some links in the comments below. If you have any questions, let me know what you thought of the video. I really enjoy this. I appreciate it, guys. I hope that this video gets out there and you guys, have some questions for me. I appreciate it. This is Kodiak. Deuces.